If you've ever thought your market's too high priced to actually do wholesaling real estate, well, think again. In this episode, Oscar Covarrubias in the Central Valley of California went from making $30,000 a year to making $40,000 in one single deal, doing 3 deals per month and now 15 per month. Hear this guy's whole journey. I know it will inspire you. And in an expensive California market, no less. Here's Oscar Covarrubias. And if you've actually gotten any value from this podcast, please leave a review and take a moment and make sure that you're subscribed. This helps us make more content to help you achieve financial freedom.
The DealMachine REI Podcast. Everything you need to know to get started in real estate investing.
All right, Oscar. So why don't you tell me in like 60 seconds who you are and what you do?
Awesome. So my name is Oscar Covarrubias. I'm from Fresno, California. I am a real estate investor, and we mainly do fix and flip, wholesaling, and we just started buying holding.
Wow. Well, congratulations on adding a third strategy. And wow, you actually are in California, which is a market I hear a lot of people say they can't do wholesaling real estate in because it's too expensive. So I'm ecstatic to dive deeper into this. But before we do that, I'm just curious, Oscar, what was your life like before you got into real estate investing?
It was kind of basic, to be honest with you. I did sales for a buddy's company where we sold manufactured e-liquid, and got to travel the States and go to different events and deal with different personality types. And the events, if I'm honest with you, were just big parties, right? So, but at the same time, I was kind of able to develop my skills at communicating, being able to develop rapport and develop relationships with long-term clients. A little bit different now in real estate, but definitely helps now with the networking aspect of it. Networking with different business owners such as yourself and people we meet at masterminds, and just building off those relationships like we were talking about a little bit before with your master.
Gotcha. So for work, you got to just go to a bunch of parties. That actually sounds pretty good. Why did you get in? Why did you want to go into real estate investing?
So just like a lot of people, real estate was just was something I've always wanted to get into. I just remember a friend of mine actually putting an ad out for an acquisition position, and I got into it not knowing what it was about. Wasn't too sure if I needed to get my license, but just kind of went, interviewed for it. They hired me on the spot, handed me a piece of paper, and said, hey, go out to this appointment and buy the property for 50% of its value. And I just remember thinking, like, dude, like, no one's going to sell me their house for 50% of their value. And kind of find out they were signing the paperwork, right?
Wow.
And then
why would somebody do that? Why tell me about that story.
So it's even my strong suit now. So it's just solving problems. That's all it is. It comes down to being able to, number one, get a person to like you, and number two, getting a person to trust you. And then also just, solving the problems that they're not equipped to solve or don't want to solve. And, they want their hand held through the process. And I do that very well. And I'm able to connect with them. I'm able to kind of sit there. My wife tells me I'm probably the best therapist in the world, because I can sit down, listen to your problems, give you positive feedback, and just be able to just become a really good problem solver. And so I say that to my sales team all the time. The only difference between me and you is I can solve more problems, and that's it.
Yeah. So like the first deal that you did, walk me through, like, what was the problem that you ended up solving there for that person?
So the first deal I ever did was I actually made $0 on. So it's kind of funny. So the first deal I ever did was actually a real estate investor who needed money right away. Right. He had this vacant property that he just got the tenants out of. It was a major headache for him, needed a lot of work. I came in, we contracted the price at $150,000, and I remember blasting it out for I think it was $160, right? And the highest price I got was $150. And I remember actually going up to the guy and telling him, I was like, hey man, I'll be honest with you, I'm wholesaling this property. Best offer I have is $150. I want to make something. Give me $500. Right. And the guy was like, Oscar, I'll be honest with you, I knew you were wholesaling the deal. I'm not going to pay you anything on this deal, but I expect you to push it through. I expect you to close this deal, and just this is a lesson learned for you. And so I thought it was really cool because at the time I was kind of pissed off, but now it's kind of like he did kind of teach me a lesson there. But I'm glad I
Was that the seller? Was that the seller that knew?
yeah, I was a seller. He was a
Gotcha. So what was the problem that he was actually trying to solve?
So he, I believe he was developing some properties on some land out of state, and he just needed the money. He needed a fast
Okay.
close. Let's just put it that way. He needed a fast close, and he was out of state, and he just didn't have anyone to deal. He didn't want to deal with it. He didn't want to deal with the.
Gotcha. Yeah. So this is somebody who, time was probably money, or maybe he needed some money to finish the development out of state, right? So he just wanted to close super fast, didn't want to wait for listing it with an agent.
Yeah, and if I'm honest with you, I really think he knew I was just starting off, and he kind of wanted to just kind of give me a break and see and give me a shot to see what I could do with the property. I got that vibe from him right away. So,
Yeah.
but and we still get those type of clients today. And a lot of times, we play that role of, just starting off. I'm a bit younger, just learning the ropes. And, a lot of times you'd be surprised how many time investors will actually look out for you and want to pass the torch.
Right. Yeah. I felt that way too a couple times. Tell me about the deal that you did for that you actually made your first like dollars, that you actually took money out of thin air and put it in your pocket because you found a deal and then you wholesaled it and made some money.
Oh yeah, okay. So that actually happened right after this deal. And that property, it's actually a really cool story. This was a really it was a drug house. Let's just put it that way, in a really decent neighborhood. And I remember reaching out to the lady, and she said, "Hey, I can't talk right now because the sheriff is here and he's trying to take the house away from me." Right? And so I said, "Look, I'm gonna come over right away." And so I went over to the house, and I remember like yesterday. Like I walk up to the property. The sheriff is there with just a bunch of other people. This house is a mess. Like it's just there's trash everywhere. It's just a mess. And I remember telling the sheriff, "Hey, I'm here because I'd like to buy this house." And I remember him looking at me and saying, "You want to buy this house?" And I said, "Yeah, I want to buy this house." And so I remember he went up to the lady and was like, "Look, either we take your home from you today or you sell it to this guy right over here." And he points right at me. And I'm just thinking in my head, like, "Oh, man."
Right place, right time, Oscar.
I'm just thinking, like, "Oh, man, this is like." So she goes, "Okay, well, how much can you offer me?" And we ended up going down the street to a Burger King, right? And I just remember I had I initially gave her a ballpark of I think it was like 80 to 90 grand. I ended up getting under contract for $60,000, right? And this is
Well, okay.
yeah.
How did you get down from 80 to 65?
Honestly, after I walked the property and just I knew she was going to sell to me, so I just wanted to anchor a little bit lower, and I just wanted to kind of protect myself because I just started off. I just did a deal where I walked away with nothing, so I wanted to make sure I was going to make something on this deal. So I just wanted to protect myself, and just based off the condition of the property, I wasn't too sure if it was a knockdown or not. So
Gotcha.
just wanted to anchor low, that way I could kind of protect my investment, right? So offered her 60. We agreed to the 60, and this is back in the day when you could actually have open houses and have 30, 40, real estate investors walk through your property, right?
Why can't you do that now?
It's a little harder now, right?
Why?
It's just what we're seeing now is you can still do that, but a lot of times, number one, it's highly competitive in the market right now to get a vacant property, and then number two, a lot of investors, we have such a strong buyers list that a lot of our buyers are buying with just videos and photos, so we don't even get to a point where they're going to walk the property right now. So
Gotcha.
that's all.
They don't even buy it. You're saying they buy it sight unseen.
Sight unseen, correct. And we do a really good job with videos and photos. So we typically get anywhere from 80 to 100 photos. And then our walkthrough videos are really good.
Wow, 80 to 100 photos. That's a lot of photos.
Yeah, there's no such thing as too many photos, man. You want like, yeah, like, and our videos are like virtual tours of the actual property too. So they're really good videos.
That's amazing. Okay. So was there a worse deal? We talked about your first deal. We talked about the deal you made $0. Was there like a worse deal that you have to share that we could learn from?
Oh yeah. I mean, I have a lot of bad deals. Let's see here.
Well, actually, before you move on, so how much did you end up making on that deal where you made that first dollar?
I made $40,000 on that deal.
40,000.
Yeah.
Wow. So that probably actually made up for the one you made $0.
Yes, and come to find out, I could have made more. You know, I think I got really excited and accepted an offer. You know, next day, and then even after we got the assignment signed and we accepted the offer, I could have made upwards of maybe $60,000-$70,000 on it. But you know, just like even to this day, you know, we kept our word on any assignment that we have. Even if it gets over, we'll follow through with our assignments that we agree with people.
That's amazing. I liked that aspect of both of your stories. Got a lot of respect for you, Oscar, because it could have been easy to be greedy.
Yeah.
But that can actually be a big vulnerability if you guys actually started making decisions like that. And I'm really glad that you looked out for the people that you made commitments to.
Yeah, absolutely. It's easy to burn a bridge in this business. It's a small community, and you definitely want the reputation of coming through at the end for your buyers.
100%. All right. So yeah, let's talk about that worst deal that we could actually learn from.
So yeah, let's talk about this deal, because this one actually, you know, I had a lot of sleepless nights with this one. I had a property that I had under agreement in Sacramento, and I remember I had to pay $5,000 to the cash for keys to the tenants to vacate, and I remember having to come back the next day because the day after it was vacated, it was broken into, right? And then I had to show proof to the sheriff that, you know, these people broke in. And, you know, I had a cash for keys agreement that I just signed yesterday. They're not supposed to be here. They falsified a.
What is a cash for keys agreement, by the way? Because we're just familiar with wholesaling. What is cash for keys?
So cash for keys is actually it's one of like the best techniques in order to get tenants out or squatters out of the property. It's when you come to an agreement with them to give them cash in exchange for them to vacate the property.
Okay, so you're saying you got a property under contract and then you spoke directly to the tenant.
Correct.
And you offered them cash to leave the property so you could just get them out of your hair.
Correct. Because we see just the profit you'll get from a property delivered vacant versus delivered with a problem, which could be, you know, an eviction.
Especially in California, where the eviction process is probably not very easy.
It's ridiculous here. I paid upwards of $10,000 for cash for keys just because it's worth it in the long run. Like it's in California. You're absolutely right. It's yeah. And in my example, like even when I actually proved that these people broke in and actually broke the law, the sheriff still gave them 3 days to vacate the property. So and made me come back to verify that they vacated. Not only did they vacate, but they also stole the solar panel system along with it.
What?
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
No. So, and I called the sheriff. And I told him, I was like, hey, these guys took the solar panel system. He said, well, you don't have proof that they took the solar panel. It's just, yeah. So, you know, and then I had to deal with the solar company who it was insured, but they didn't want to insure it. And yeah, it was just a nightmare scenario. It took us 3 months to close this deal. At the end of the day, we ended up making $20,000 on it, but you know, it just
$20,000, not bad. It's no $40,000, but you made $20,000 on it.
Right. So at the end of the day, we made money. We're grateful for it, but it's just yeah, it definitely stressed us out. That's for sure.
How did the money compare to event management compared to wholesaling? What you were doing before?
Oh, it's night and day, man. It's night and day. I mean, you're talking about, you know, I was making maybe 30, 40 grand a year. And, we can make that in one deal now. It's,
Right. Yeah. How has that affected your life?
I mean, it's changed it for sure. I mean, it's for the better, I really feel like money just makes you a better, if you're a good person when you don't have money, and when you get money, you're going to be a good person. So we like to give back a lot. We like to give back quite a bit, actually, whether it's to our community or whether it's to our team or families or just the people or loved ones that are around us. But it's not only impacted my life, but the people around my life and people, mainly involved.
Please open up your podcast app right now and leave us a review and let us know what you thought of this episode. It means so much because the reviews help us get in front of more people. And the more people we can get in front of, the more we can help them achieve financial freedom. And we also get more energy to put more content out like this to help you. So by leaving us a review, it will give you more content to come to help you along on your journey. Thank you so much. Wow, that's amazing. So where do you like to give back? How do you like to do that?
We're part of a couple real estate like community that throw events, fundraisers. I think I had in the flyer for one of them, but we like to donate to those things. A lot of them are targeted towards children for clothing and shoes, and just little community events like that. We like to participate in them.
Gotcha. Man, that feels so good to give back whenever you have a chance to. I know selfishly, just anytime that I've gone out of my way to help somebody out, it just feels good selfishly to do that. So obviously it's very helpful for them too. And really nice that you're taking away that time. I love and I'm inspired to do that. I should go donate something or go do volunteering after this.
Yeah, no, it comes back in tenfolds. I really believe that. I really believe the more you give, the more you're going to get back. I mean, yeah, and I'm just fortunate to have partners who are on the same page with that as well.
Gotcha. Well, what type of we've talked about your first deal, we've talked about your $0 deal and your worst deal. When did you end up partnering up with your partner, Fred?
So Fred and I met about a year and a half ago, and we kind of had this. Our visions were aligned. I wanted to build my rental portfolio, and I wanted to build a real business other than just have this wholesale business that is run out of my garage, right? So that's one of the reasons we actually ended up purchasing a franchise, which is called Joe Home Buyer, just because we wanted a structure. We wanted structure. And, Fred he already had a rental portfolio in upstate New York where he had
how many properties?
He had about 30.
Okay. And you? Did you have any?
I didn't have any.
Okay. No. But wholesaling had given you some cash. So you were like, well, I'd like to maybe keep some of these deals now that I know how to find good ones.
Absolutely. So now, now I have, I think 11 properties.
Oh, congratulations,
yeah,
man.
Thank you, dude. Yeah. It's just something that I never thought I'd have.
And where are your properties?
I have some in upstate New York. I have a few in Daytona, Florida. And then surprisingly, I don't have any in California right now. I do have a couple sub twos, but we're actually fixing and flipping those sub twos here in California.
Gotcha. And what was the biggest driver for you that you wanted to actually start buying rental properties? Because wholesaling seems like it was giving you a great life. You're making $20,000 to $40,000 checks. Used to be your annual salary, and now you're making it in one deal.
Yeah, it's just long-term wealth, man. For not for myself, but my son, his kids, and just long-term wealth. To be honest with you.
Okay, so you're saying like if you take the money and you invest it, that those properties will be there even long after you're gone, and you'd really want to pass some of that off to your family.
I do for next generation. Cool. Absolutely.
Cool. Very cool. So which properties do you wholesale in New York and Daytona, or how did you end up picking those markets?
So that's where Fred is from. So my business partner Fred's from upstate New York, and he has connections up there. And I'll be honest with you, the price is a lot better than California. It's a little bit easier to get into those properties, and I felt like we could scale, and we have scaled that. And that's one of the main reasons we wanted to scale. So I anticipate by the end of the year we'll probably be at 20, properties in upstate New York and maybe a few more in Florida.
Okay. How do you end up deciding if it is a good rental property to buy on? How are you analyzing those deals?
Honestly, if I can get into it with zero down and cash flow, even a couple $100, it's that simple for me.
What do you mean zero down? How do you do that 11 times?
Well, you just you get them on seller finance. That's how you do it.
Oh, okay. So can you walk us through what seller financing is if somebody doesn't know what that means?
Well, it's a lot of times it's when a seller is able to just carry the note, right, and allow you to take over the payments monthly.
Gotcha. So when would you use that? Do you pitch that to all of your deals, or how do you, when do you bring that up and how do you bring it up?
If I'm honest with you, it's brought up. We have a connection in New York that we have a person boots on the ground in New York who's just strictly looking for those type of properties. So a lot of them come from maybe listings that haven't been able to sell, right? And they're open to some type of creative financing.
Okay, gotcha. And so somebody in New York is actually making the pitch. You're not necessarily the one talking directly to the seller.
No, man, I'm just buying them. That's it. Yeah.
Got it. Cool. And so how has the transition been from wholesaling on your own to joining a franchise? Or actually, you had to buy into the franchise, right?
Yeah. So it was honestly very tough for me because I was already doing deals, right? And so for me to go and pay, a lot of money to buy a franchise and to just take someone else's blueprint was very tough for me. But, I met Cody Hoffine and Mark Stubler, and they were just great people. And I got to see their operation, how they scaled their business, and how they're not very involved in their business. And it's just something that I just wanted to replicate and copy and paste. Because wholesaling it's a job. I almost want to say wholesaling is not fun, and it's not something I want to do anymore. But I definitely want to put the structure and the blueprint together. That way, it is being run. That way, it provides me off-market opportunities because I want to continue buying. I want to continue fixing and flipping, and there's no better deal than your own source deal to do that.
Gotcha. Yeah. I mean, once you actually figure out, yeah, exactly. So tell me this, how many deals were you doing like before you joined the franchise, and now how's it going?
So I was doing about two to three deals a month on average. Okay. That's consistently every single month. I was doing about two to three.
Which is fantastic, by the way. That's amazing.
Yeah. And it really
That's not
is
an easy thing to accomplish.
But that's busting my ass coming in every single day. That's, putting in the time and the work, right? Now that I joined the franchise, we are averaging somewhere between 12 to 13 deals a month.
Holy cow, man.
Yeah.
That's crazy. It must be some blueprint.
Yeah, it's and if I'm honest with you, it's just spending more money, something I didn't do before.
So you had got it. This is interesting.
Yeah.
So why were you afraid to spend money on marketing? I'm guessing, right? Like that's the money you were not spending?
Well, a lot of times, when you first start off wholesaling, you're kind of penny pinching, right? You're trying to save money here, save money there. Maybe you go into maybe more cold calling and text messaging just because it's cheaper marketing. And then a lot of people don't, they don't send mailers out or do PPC because it's very expensive. And that's where I kind of thank Fred, right? Fred brought in and just stuck in my head, you need to spend money in order to make money. So not only are we spending more money on marketing and different marketing strategies, but we're spending a lot of money on our team, right? So that 2 to 3, I had maybe one VA and, myself cold calling. Now I have 4 VAs, 3 acquisition reps, 1 dispo agent, and then 1 social media person from out of state. So, and 2 business partners. So it definitely, I have a whole team now. So,
dang. That's not cheap. Do you pay salaries or do you pay like a big commission to your acquisitions managers, for example?
We pay a small salary with a commission.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you have a breakdown of how much you pay in marketing costs, like per deal that you guys close, wholesale deal in California?
You mean cost per deal?
Exactly.
Okay. That's more of a Fred question, but I think last time I looked, I think we were at $6,000 a deal. I want to say.
Okay, so you spend $6,000 on like data and marketing or postcards or pay per click,
Yeah.
and then you're getting a deal that could range from like $20,000 to $40,000 assignment fee. So obviously there's a nice spread there between what you're spending on marketing and what you're bringing in.
Correct. I think the average assignment that we have is 18,000 right now today.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, today.
That's excellent.
Yeah.
And what are the types of things you're actually spending that $6,000 on to actually get deals?
Everything. If I'm honest with you, we do everything. We do cold calling. We do a little bit of text messaging. We do direct mail. We do PPC. We even just started doing, which is very new, but we're starting to do maybe some commercials through streaming services as well.
Gotcha. Streaming services.
Yeah. It's I forgot what company we're going through, but I know they're going through mainly Hulu, and I forget the other platform. But we actually went to a studio, shot a commercial, and everything. It's pretty cool.
Dude, you guys have just advanced your business so much. It's so exciting to see.
Yeah.
Congratulations on all the success.
Thank you, man. Thank you. It's been a journey for sure.
As we wind things down on this episode, I'm curious, outside of work, like what are some things that you like doing?
I'm a family man at heart, man. I spend a lot of time with my family. We like the camping. We like to do things together. We like, honestly, we just anything. I guess a boring dad would do. Barbecue at home, have family. We're definitely the home that all the nephews and family come over every single weekend, and we host barbecues and parties every single weekend. I'll be honest with you.
Well, I'm glad you're still getting your partying fixed, right? You started off that way and you're still doing it, but you're making a whole lot more money now.
Yeah, well, we were able to, be able to do those things for our family and our loved ones, and be able to just provide for everyone around us and our loved ones.
I love that. And now, what's your advice to somebody who's just getting started looking for their first wholesale deal? If you had to give them one piece of advice.
To take action and not give up. It's not easy. It's not easy, and then once you get your first deal, don't let that go to your head. You're going to have to put in the same amount of work every single day. It's, it's a grind. It really is a grind, but it's worth it. It's so rewarding, and anyone can do it. And I truly believe that with enough dedication and enough, just don't give up and just keep going.
Awesome. I totally agree. So many people that end up quitting. In my unique position, right? I run the DealMachine app. A lot of people start out by using that and driving for dollars. They'll say, hey, I'm just quitting because it's not going to work in my market. But I look how many properties they added. They only added 20. It's like you can't just add 20 properties. You spend $6,000 in marketing, right?
Yeah.
So 20 properties, would be less than $20 in marketing. Now, thankfully, driving for dollars is like way less of an investment because it's a unique list that only you have that you can't easily buy. So they're spending a lot less when they're using DealMachine, but they still, they've got to add hundreds of properties. So I think not giving up, keep going, taking action, is really good advice. And I know that somebody listening here, at least one person, is going to find that, and actually it's going to change their life. Oscar, thank you so much for spending time with us today.
No, thank you.
Where can people find you, by the way? Do you have social media or a website?
Yeah.
Place they'd
Joe
like?
Homebuyers is our Instagram. You can reach me there. You can reach me directly. Oscar at joehomebuyers.com is my email. You guys, if you guys have any questions, concerns, I'm more than happy to have help with any type of question.
Is it home buyer or home buyers with an S?
Homebuyer.
Okay, joehomebuyer.com. You guys know where to reach him, and we'll see you on the next one. Thanks so much, Oscar.
Thanks for listening to the DealMachine Real Estate Investing Podcast. Please leave us a review and follow along wherever you're listening to your podcast.